all the Ngumba and all those red feather people, they will go and do selection and they come. And all those things, they pour libation to our ancestors and they come up there with it. We are not going to destroy it. We are going to tell our people that this is how this thing was supposed to have been done. We are Southern Cameroonians. We were a state before the Republic, and we were like this, before like this. Now the Republic has come to divide us into Northwest and Southwest, and this is, we are not going to accept it. We are going to our traditional order. That is the reason why one parliamentarian told John Gote in Bamenda, who is the Prime Minister, Philomeya, that you are with us. There are some of our parents who are out there, except you come out openly and say you are against Ambazonia and you are against this, and what happened is it? Let me tell you, Director, let me tell you a story. No, 1 minute. I grew up, I heard that one guy was a professional thief in the quarter. They took him to court, and the judge judged that, okay, we are going to kill you, we are going to sentence you and kill you. So the guy used to steal goats, all those things, and give to the parents. When they gave the final judgment that now you are going to be killed, he called his mother and said, "Oh, come, let me whisper something to you." The man took off the mother's ear. He said, "Mommy, when I be the thief, why you not be talking a bad thing now? They want to kill me." Some of these people, they are like, they don't even know. Like, public is up to destroy our educational system, cultural system, and all those things. So what we are telling our people is that the villagers should stand up. You were enthroned as a chief in Banso, a chief in Bafu, not a chief in Yaoundé.
Okay, just a moment, Ochiba. I think you have said some things which are very correct. Before you leave, I'd like us to think. This is a conversation. We're about concluding the show, but I'd like us to think collectively, and so that we don't flip flop too much. The point here is not like we are trying to destroy our own. The point here is, as a natural course of life, change is constant. The way you dress in today is not the way your grandfather used to dress. There were times they moved all day without shirts and they had ngwashi in the village. If you go to the village today, you will not even dress up in ngwashis. What we are seeing is change is constant because people model the way they live. A culture is a collective agreement that is handed down and it evolves. When situations change, things change. If we must maintain the word fundum or chiefdom, then it must be modeled to fit what we are going through today. Why? Because we have learned some consequences of some of what our parents did based on what they were thinking yesterday. I'll give an example. One of the reasons why the Banso people, their phone can choose to ask that all of them be killed, they will not do anything because they are bound by some foolish traditions that says you can't go against the phone. You understand? So, if we take into consideration that you learn from something and you can evolve it, then we can change this whole thing. I know your argument and I agree with you to a very great extent when you're trying to say that we don't allow Cameroon to divide us. This is not about dividing us. The chiefs are already dividing their villages. They come and they assault elders and bribe them and a lot of things. I'm using general terms for purposefully.
I get what you are saying. Director, I get what you are saying. I'm telling you that those chiefs are helpless. We are the ones to help them. I will give you an example.
I know
Okay,
you
I
argue. I don't know what happened. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, his connection.
In every kingdom or fandom in the grassland, I can say with authenticity,
Yeah,
that our people, they have mechanisms when a chief abdicates. And
Yeah.
these people not living in their palaces have abdicated their duty that was enshrined to them. They took an oath to protect their people. They've abdicated their thrones.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and say one of my great grandma was married to a supposed fond of Songwa. And this guy came out and said, "Oh, he doesn't want to become a fond," and he left and he ran to Kumba. The next person came up, and he became the king, the fond of Songwa. Those mechanisms are there in our own local, in our local rules on how to enshrine or enthrone a king. These things have to be done in these situations when these people who are traitors run and leave their villages and their citizens to be slaughtered. He's has a lot of bad faith, and these people should be replaced by a regent. And all those things, the regent can come among from the what the Bamenda people Betabequit for in that area. So these things can be done. It should be done because the villagers need guardians. They need somebody to look up to, and nobody who is sitting somewhere in affluence, who is sitting somewhere eating with the same person who is killing them, is a true representative of the people in the villages. So we must replace them, and we must replace them now.
Yeah. So you see, you have just said it very well. We must find a way to activate any of the traditional agreements we have to dethrone people who have betrayed us. If we must maintain the fandom, we cannot maintain a fandom with a bad chief. A bad leader in a fandom makes the entire fandom bad. A bad chief in a chiefdom makes it bad. So the argument here is we must look for a way if we must maintain it. Because that's my argument. I have a very strong reason for that. I don't think we must maintain it the way it is now. It's an apology. In fact, 80% of the chiefs in the southern zone and even in the grass field are now CPTM politicians. The government has, in fact, they have lost every virtue that they have traditionally, and they are depending on Yaoundé. In fact, 80% of what we call traditional rulership is against their own people. Because if you are in Southern Cameroons and you are for CPDM, you are against Southern Cameroons. So something serious, and I know serious change are difficult. Traditional people who love to drink palm wine in the village a lot, find it very difficult to accept that something that they love so much should be overhauled. But until you have an overhaul and see the benefit, you will not know what that is. So, Chiba, your back connection went up. Please, you have just about 90 seconds. Conclude so that we can make progress.
Yes, Director Paddy, you are very, very right. I agree with what you are saying. The problem is this: which power do these chiefs have? La Republic is important. A chief, for example, is not supposed to be a CPDM or SDM and whatsoever. A chief is supposed to be the chief of the village, which means that he is the custodian of the cultural heritage of the village. Being there, the artists, armed robbers, everybody.
And your argument is that we should help them, right? You want us to help them, right? You like us to help the chief ones.
We need to help to liberate.
Now, one of the ways to help to liberate them is to replace them and give an embargo that any chief that is a CPDM cannot rule us. That's one of the ways to help them.
No, you cannot just go by replacing them. You have to tell them that. Let them, for example,
No.
like a mark. You tell the mark on chief that what tradition is that you don't need to bring a woman with your hand. You have to do this. You have to do this. You start with the tradition.
No. Chiba, that's where we don't agree
Can
on
I
that. Yes.
can I come in here?
Yeah, but just wait. But
Yes.
wants to say something.
Yes, listen. Let me make myself clear. A fund who has abdicated his throne and is in Yaoundé should be
Just a
replaced
moment.
by
Ochiba.
a fund.
Right.
Can I finish? A fund who has abdicated and is in Yaoundé, whining and dining with the regime, should be replaced by a regent selected by the kingmakers. And that doesn't mean that that regent is a fund. It will stay a regent until the Ambazonian government, the new government that is coming to play, will establish a law regulating traditional institutions. That is what I said.
I agree
I
with you.
cannot.
That is, and I
Yeah,
agree.
listen
And
now.
now, yeah.
And secondly,
I agree.
this question of we should be careful is very important because we must maintain our tradition. The tradition that puts the chiefs must be maintained, but that will be determined by the law that will be passed by the Ambazonian parliament regulating traditional institutions. And no chief will become an auxiliary of the administration. No chief will belong to any political party. That is what it was in those days, and we have to re-establish that to make sure that our funds remain our funds.
At least what you're
That
saying
is
now
my
is a framework.
that is
That's good. What you have given now is a good framework because it regulates bad behavior, and that's what has created this discussion. Yes, Ochiba,
yes.
conclude. You have 30 seconds, please.
100%. Yes, 100%. But Mr. Prince also is saying, my problem is that we need to investigate to see if those people they have the right. Like Ayub Dabe, who is in prison, fighting against us, only because he's behind the scene. They wonder, a cold weather will lock the keys and say, oh, who is Paddy, who is Mr. Prince also, telling this. So we need to, what Mr. Prince also said, I am in support of it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but Dr. Tita was saying. We are going to help our people who don't have the power. Like La Republic, French, all over in Africa, they don't have the power. They are seizing instead of them fighting to liberate themselves from France, they will say Pobia is bad, Macky Sall is bad, this. Whereas it is those French people. They still promoting all their people.
Yeah, Ochiba, we can talk about this all day and we'll never get to an end. The agreement here is there should be some form of regulation or a legislature that will stop this foolishness. Enough of chiefs and funds taking advantages of the people and exploiting them, betraying them, and aiding and abetting, facilitating occupation. Enough of it. Something has got to be done, and that thing is supposed to shake the system.
Director, one second. What you are saying here, I support you. You know that we are dealing with a complex matter that deals with various traditions. I am from Northwest. No, sorry. I'm from
No, enough.
I don't know how the tradition. I don't know how tradition is in Shaw and other places. So there's some people, they are Wumba people. They know how to go about it, and we don't have any administrative right to go about doing all those things now.
The general consensus is we have done a lot of things that have changed the ground, so we can push through this. We are saying that
Correct.
we cannot do the same thing every day. Ochiba, please, I can't take you any longer. We have to close now.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We cannot be doing the same thing every day, sympathizing with facilitators, apologies, and enablers, and expecting to get another result. It's high time a serious statement is made so that the chiefs and funds will understand that we as a people, we are serious. Let's have that concluding word from you, Dr. I start with you, Dr. Tita.
Thank you very much again, Director Paddy. I think that what Senior Barrister Fru has said and what SOS Zama has said really defines exactly what needs to be done. The kingmakers on the ground, they're on the ground and should be able to make the decision that is going to be in favor of our people. So they all know that the kingmakers are there on the ground to make this decision. We can only try to guide them on or give them advice on what to do, in this situation. That will help them also in making that decision, But we have come extremely far as this struggle is concerned. No chief, no fund on the ground can stop this revolution. No chief, no fund on the ground should accept any political appointment to be involved or lead any political party that is supposed to be a part of La République du Cameroon. We are not a part of La République du Cameroon, and our chiefs and funds should be aware of this. No child born in Amazonia should be involved in any political supposed multipartism that is supposed to be taking part in La République du Cameroon. That is not us, and it's not part of us. Do not try to legitimize La République du Cameroon colonialism in our territory. We have all had enough time ever since this struggle has been going on now for each and every Southern Cameroonian to withdraw. Leave those elites or those politicians that have moved from Amazonia to the colonial La République du Cameroon, the territory, to be over there. And let our people completely disown these people. And I say this for a fact that if any chief or any fund align themselves with the regime in making any decision in the name of making that decision for the people our people should immediately denounce them, any fund or chief, and he should be immediately replaced. Or anyone that is working in line and is seen as if they want to work with the regime, there should be no hesitation in replacing them. But at the level of this interim government, with the diligent or great leadership of the president, the interim government is strong. It's standing extremely strong for the freedom of Amazonia. We will be starting the county draft, and we will come in there with full force in making sure that we liberate homeland. If anyone, I think everybody in Ground Zero must have seen the images that came from the refugee camp on World Refugee Day. There with the refugees, thousands of them coming out and calling on the international community to stop the politics and speak to their leader, and that was referring to His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ikomesako, and end the war in Amazonia, so they could all of us can all return home peacefully. But thank you again once more, Director Paddy, for giving me the opportunity to come in here. I'm not going to talk too long. Thank you, Senior Barrister. Thank you, SOS Zama. It's been a great evening. Thank you.
Yes, I'll take it with you, Barrister Fru. We'll conclude with SOS Zama.
Yes, I repeat my declaration. La République du Cameroon has lost this war. They are desperately going after a soft target, our citizens, our civilian citizens. And we must do everything, because they are now sinking. We must do everything to sink them to where they belong. That is our goal now. Our civilians must be protected. And in doing that, we must sink La République du Cameroon. My second declaration is, I'm calling on the federal government to own Ndian, because the coup plotters dismantled our political elites of Ndian. I'm not saying that we're going to ignore the few that are there, but they will only complement the federal government. The federal government should own Ndian from now on, because that is the breadbasket of Amazonia. That is the breadbasket of Amazonia. And given what the owner is planning to do with Bakassi, we cannot wait till when Ndian drafts last around August, September, before we do something. The federal government should own Ndian immediately and ensure that whatever is happening, we should get our boys there and even beef them up and put some equipment in their hands that will make Ndian ungovernable for La République du Cameroon. That includes Bakassi, because no investor will enter an unsafe zone. And if we keep talking about propaganda and doing nothing about making Ndian ungovernable, we will go nowhere. They will take over our resources and we are done. Number 3, I agree with SOS Zama Any fund that is now living in Yaoundé has abdicated, and the process of selecting a regent must be followed, must be done by the kingmakers, and the regent will remain a regent fund until the future Ambazonian government will regulate the traditional institutions of our people. Until then, no fund that has gone to Yaoundé, has living in Yaoundé, should be seen to come back, either dead or alive. That is my conclusion. And I thank everybody. I thank SOS Ama. I thank Dr. Chita. And of course, Paddy. Paddy is our moderator who talks more than us. Thank you very much.
Yes. SOS Ama, you have a technical part to handle there. The crown falls on you. The federal government has got to take Indian and make it a calculated project. Yes, we're listening.
I think the idea of taking Indian, as I said, is not a bad idea. But you cannot just take Indian artificially. We have to go down there and build up and make a robust team of people, administrators, local people who can manage and control the gentlemen and women who are fighting this war on the ground. Just taking it without building that is not going to do as well as if we had an organic growth from ground zero. Regarding the other aspect of this war, La Republique is losing, and it has lost. So we are asking all our young men, in case we give these alerts that we give all the time, to that the enemy is coming, please look for shelter, look for some safety areas for them for them to not to find you, because the enemy is out there just to continue doing the attrition of young men in a fight, in the hope that if they kill enough young men, this fight will just disappear. It doesn't work that way. But we are not going to put our citizens in harm's way all the time. So when we give this advice that, okay, the military is here, take height, even whether you're a fighter or not, they kill anybody. They cannot fight the fighters who are fighting them. That's a sad thing. They are not men enough. They don't have balls. They don't have what it takes to be a soldier. They go after killing young women, picking up women who have babies with them, shooting, burning grandpas in their houses. It's the savagery that the French people were taught by Napoleonic War adventures. That aspect of their culture hasn't changed. They go scorch-earth everywhere they go. But the more they think they can make friends, like the guy in Manu was telling them, they should not sell their cocoa to Nigeria. I can guarantee you that we will facilitate them selling their cocoa to Nigeria at the highest price they can get. They will not sell that cocoa in La Republique. We've made it. They've not been able to transport cocoa there. They cannot stop these people from selling their products at open market at a value that's better than what they are paying by the middle people in East Cameroon. They are looking for every aspect to get money. This is one aspect that I can guarantee you they're not going to get. Our farmers are going to be encouraged to sell these products to Nigeria in larger and larger volumes. After all, right now, why didn't they say the farmers in the northern zone and southern zone should not sell food to Gabon or to Central African Republic or to Chad? It's the same thinking. We have to put our feet on the ground and say, this is it. And these people, the farmers in Manu, I can guarantee you, we will give you safe passage to Nigeria to sell your products. And lastly, I want to thank all